Hi, I'd like to improve my English pronunciation. Can you help?
Of course, pronunciation is important for clear communication. Let's get started. First, focus on vowel sounds.
How can I distinguish between different vowel sounds?
Pay attention to tongue placement and mouth shape. For example, E, like in tree, requires a smiley mouth with raised tongue.
What about a sounds like in cat?
That's a short vowel sound. Keep your mouth open and your tongue in a neutral position.
What's the trick for its sounds?
TH has two forms, voiced, as in this, and unvoiced, as in think. Stick your tongue out slightly and blow air for the unvoiced set.
I struggle with their L sounds.
Try placing your tongue behind your teeth for R and touch the roof of your mouth with your tongue for L.
How can I practice these sounds?
Tongue twisters are great exercises. Try saying red leather, yellow leather repeatedly.
Could you explain syllable stress?
Sure, English words have stressed syllables, like present. Emphasize them more than unstressed syllables.
I find consonant clusters challenging.
Break them into smaller parts and practice gradually increasing speed.
Are there any common mispronunciations to avoid?
Many non-native speakers mix up and if, likevery, sounding like wary.
How can I improve my rhythm in English speech?
Listen to native speakers and mimic their pace and rhythm.
I often have trouble with silent letters.
Be aware of silent letters in words, like theek, in night.
How about reducing strong syllables in longer words?
In longer words, weak syllables tend to be shorter and less pronounced.
Can you recommend any helpful pronunciation apps?
Certainly, apps like Sounds, the pronunciation app, and Elsa Speak are popular choices.
What's the role of tongue position in pronunciation?
Tongue position affects vowel and consonant sounds. Experiment with placing it differently for different sounds.
I have trouble with the ong sound as in song.
Practice by making the n sound and gradually releasing it into theeg sound.
How can I ensure my speech doesn't sound too robotic?
Vary your pace, pitch, and rhythm to sound more natural and engaging.
Are there any tongue exercises I can do?
Try touching the roof of your mouth with your tongue, then move it from side to side.
I've heard about the International Phonetic Alphabet, IPA. Is it useful?
Yes, IPA symbols help you understand and produce accurate sounds.
Can you suggest English YouTube channels to follow for pronunciation?
Channels like Rachel's English and Pronunciation Pro offer helpful lessons.
I get confused between B and P sounds.
Remember, B is voiced and IP is unvoiced. You can feel the vibration in your vocal cords for B.
Can you explain the concept of linking sounds?
In connected speech, sounds flow together. For example, I am becomes I'm with a linked M sound.
How can I work on my tongue tension?
Relax your tongue. Imagine it's resting at the bottom of your mouth.
What's the key to sounding fluent?
Consistent practice, exposure to native speakers, and embracing mistakes.
How can I work on my mouth muscles for better pronunciation?
Chew gum or practice exaggerated mouth movements to strengthen your muscles.
Can you suggest some tongue twisters for practice?
She sells seashells by the seashore, and how can a clam cram in a clean cream can? Are great.
How can I tackle regional accents?
Exposure is key. Listen to speakers from various regions and imitate their accents.
I often get stuck on words that start with any guidance.
Place your tongue between your teeth and blow air to get the sound right.
How do I avoid monotone speech?
Experiment with pitch changes and vary your tone to keep listeners engaged.
Can you recommend any books about English phonetics?
English Phonetics and Phonology by Peter Roach is a good starting point.
How important is facial expression during speech?
Facial expressions add context and emotion to your speech. They're important for effective communication.
I find it hard to switch between sounds quickly.
Practice transitioning between sounds with tongue twisters and exercises.
How can I make sure my speech is at a good pace?
Aim for a moderate pace. Not too fast that you slur words, and not too slow that you lose listener interest.
I sometimes struggle with word stress patterns.
Observe native speakers and mimic their stress patterns in sentences.
Are there any tongue positions I should avoid?
Be careful not to press your tongue too hard against your teeth, as it might cause lisping.
Can you recommend any online courses for pronunciation?
Websites like Coursera and Udemy offer courses like Perfect Your English Pronunciation and Master English Pronunciation.
How can I get feedback on my pronunciation?
Record yourself speaking and compare it to native speakers. You can also ask for feedback from teachers or language partners.
I get nervous when speaking in front of others.
Practice in front of a mirror or with a supportive friend to boost your confidence.
What's the best way to approach learning phonetic symbols?
Start with the basics and gradually build your knowledge. Use charts and reference guides for practice.
How can I improve my tongue flexibility?
Regularly do tongue exercises, like touching each corner of your mouth with your tongue.
Are there any mouth stretches I can do before speaking?
Gently open and close your mouth, stretch your lips into a smile, and roll your tongue in different directions.
How do I avoid sounding too formal or stiff?
Use contractions, informal phrases, and a relaxed tone to sound more conversational.
How can I practice stress in sentences?
Try stressing different words in the same sentence to hear how it changes the meaning.
I find it tough to produce the correct stress in longer sentences.
Break down sentences into smaller phrases and practice stressing one phrase at a time.
How can I improve my pronunciation without a tutor?
Use online resources, practice with pronunciation apps, and engage with native speakers through language exchange platforms.
Thank you for all the pronunciation tips.
You're welcome. Remember that consistent practice and patience will lead to improved pronunciation over time. Keep up the great work.